Live and yes, you're live. We are live there. We are live there, and we are live there. So TGIF. Let's kick off a nice, good show today. I'm in the mood for a good show. Are you? Today was a good day, albeit a very rainy, crazy, thundery day. Let's see here. And hello, South Florida. Welcome to our TGIF edition of the Real Estate Show. Thank God it's Friday. Thank God it's Florida. And for these last few weeks, thank God it's finished. It's amazing. We're just moving along quite quickly as the calendar just flips over. Here we are now, 3/4 away through June, officially on Sunday. Isn't that kind of cool? Sunday is going to be Father's Day and the first day of summer, all on the same day. And as you can see, we're marching towards the middle of the year. I got some cool stuff planned for our listeners here. Some cool releases that we're going to release. So for all of you who are regular listeners, stay tuned because this week is going to be sort of a launch into a very active next week. And as you know, every Friday we do our weekly recap. And man, if you weren't on all of the shows this week, what you have missed. We started out the week on Mondays on a mission. I'm going to spend a bit of time here on this subject here, but I was talking about the new and completely revised real estate ladder. And I have done a presentation before that I once called the real estate ladder. And I have changed that into a completely different presentation. And because of how important this ladder is, I have renamed it and made it the new ladder 2.0. And the other one, which I will spend some time talking about, perhaps even next week. At least we'll go over it. But first of all, I want to welcome all of our listeners, whether you are on AM 1470, our original station that started all of this radio show since 1999, or that you're on one of our newer FM stations, 95.3 on one end of the dial, 103.9 on the other end of the dial, 96.9 somewhere in the middle. Whether you're taking any of those stations, and all you have to do is go on one of the free apps, so you can listen to our show literally coast to coast of the United States. In fact, probably even worldwide if you have internet access to the iHeartRadio or iHeartRadio.com or the iRadio or TuneIn app, or a number of these apps that allow you now to listen to a radio station anywhere you want. So pretty soon, and I don't know, this is just sort of my guess, is that when the automobile that everyone has Wi-Fi, which I believe sooner or later they all will, they all basically come equipped with the capability. And as it becomes sort of a standard thing for you to have Wi-Fi in your car, then it really doesn't matter where you are. You can listen to a radio station. So whether you love listening to the Real Estate Show out of South Florida and you live in California, hey, Brian, I see you there. Jeff Thomas, I see you there. I see Erica on the opposite side of the United States on the East Coast. It doesn't matter. You can pick your radio station and you can pick your show, which I think is kind of neat because that means that the shows have to really deliver and bring some content, because just because it's on the air isn't going to make it last. But people from all over the place will pick what they want to listen to and get what they want out of their radio shows. And being that we're here to deliver as much as we can. And that's why, like I said, Monday we talked about the real estate ladder. And it's basically a 6 steps or 6 stages, if you will, of where you are in real estate. And it's key and critical. And it's key and critical for you as much as it was for me to really have clarity and have a really good understanding of where people are, so that I can literally, it's not so much that I need to label somebody, but I need to understand somebody where they are, because that's how I can help them the best. For example, if you are a stage 3 on the ladder, you are ready, interested in real estate, ready to get started, but you have no cash. You have credit, but no cash. And so there's two things that we can do to help you out. Number one is that we can pair you up with someone who has what you're missing, someone who has the cash, maybe doesn't have the credit. So that's one solution that I have that might be uniquely attributable to the way that we set up our business. Or number two is that this is a great opportunity to have a conversation about an extra gig, right? We've been talking so much about the gig economy that at this stage, you got to consider one of those two things. You either need to save up and make more money. And if you are not able to, as of this point, to have saved up money, then maybe it's because you need to increase your income, create a multiple or an additional stream of income. And if you were on Thursday's show, you heard about one of our projects. And this is one that I know will fast start. If you're interested in looking for an extra stream of income, we're particularly focused on this expansion team that we have with the automatic landlord debt solution. And so I'm going to jump around today because this is how busy we've had this week. On Thursday, I had Don Martin as my guest on the radio show, and we did a live stream via Zoom. We had this up on Facebook, we had this up on YouTube, we had this everywhere. By the way, I do want to suggest that all of you who are listening to us also on Facebook, you might want to go over there and subscribe on the YouTube, because we will be having a couple of different things on there. We are live right now on both platforms, as well as on the 4 radio stations, which we always do. But as you know, this live streaming on the video has been something that we've added during this sort of, what is it, shelter in place or broadcast in place? I forget. So having that, going back to our Monday, the stages that we talked about, stage 1 through 6, the first thing is to become interested in real estate. That's stage 1. And it may be that you're not ready. You may identify yourself as not ready, but you're still now in stage 1. At least you've identified yourself as being interested and ready to start the journey. Now, listening to the real estate show is your first step. It's like having a seminar a day. It'll keep you in the game because, out of sight, out of mind, and life has a way of taking over and capturing our attention. And so if you're not constantly focusing on what you want, there's no way to achieve any kind of a goal that you forget about. So stage 1. Now, there's a couple of books, and I'm going to talk about that. In fact, we're going to walk through. I wanted to introduce hey, by the way, thanks. I just got a notification, Brian, that he went over there onto our live YouTube broadcast. So again, broadcast, you can watch us live on YouTube. Go there, subscribe so that you get the notifications. But having that first stage identified, I'm going to show you what are my favorite books. And I have literally only a half a dozen of the books that I will tell you that every real estate investor must read. And they're sort of the basics and the foundation that I believe that everybody should read. I didn't write any of those books. And then, yes, I'm getting ready to release a book pretty soon. But stage 2 is when you're ready, maybe not qualified yet, and you don't know all that you should know. And P.S., you'll never know everything that you need to know, but we'll help you identify what it is you need to know. Remember, one of my claims to fame is having traveled all over the country, and I can start up and spin up a real estate business in literally 48 hours. So anybody who tells you that it takes 6 weeks of that or anything like that is not giving you the right information. What they want to do is enroll you and lock you into a long and expensive journey. I'm going to show you guys an easier way, a faster way, and we're going to roll out something that I've only done for my inside clients, which from time to time I come out with what I call a 21-day challenge. And the reason that it's a 21-day challenge is because if you do something for 21 days, it becomes a habit. And a lot of real estate investing is all about creating really good habits. And so whether you're trying to create a new habit or break an old habit, make sure you focus on not doing it for 21 days. That's how you break an old bad habit. Or focus on doing a positive thing for 21 days. And that's how you install and sort of basically program the human computer on a new and better habit. And so on Monday, we talked about all of those different stages from stage 1 all the way through stage 6. And I will tell you that I have brought many people from stage 0, not even interested in real estate. I have a fun story about that one, where I actually retired somebody in real estate who didn't even want to mess, they said, with real estate. And today they're doing very well, retired, living a very good life from the number of properties that we put together in their portfolio. They had the means, they were qualified, great credit, they had cash and reserves, great resources to start with, but the mind was not even there. So they weren't even they were at stage 0, and today they are at stage 6, which is a serial real estate investor. So that was our Monday show, and I kind of bounced off a little bit off of the Thursday show. But before I get into Tuesday, we're coming up on a break. I've got to allow a few of our sponsors to share a little bit about what they're about. Pay attention; it's good stuff there. We'll be right back from our break right after these words. You're listening to The Real Estate Show. My name is Eric Wilner. We'll be right back. Warley. So for those of you here in South Florida, you'll know what I'm talking about. It has been like raining cats and dogs. I mean, like waterfall type raining, at least once a day, every single day. We keep draining the swimming pool. The swimming pool right now is literally at the top of the coping. And the lake, which about a month ago was about 3 feet below its normal level, today it's at the top. The grass has never been greener, but the point I wanted to make is about 90 minutes ago, the engineer called me up and has said that the thunderstorms, and we had another one pass through, and these are like sort of like, shock and awe thunderstorms, and it knocked out the power at the radio station. So he called me up on the cell phone and he said, listen, I don't know, it's a little early, but we may not be able to broadcast today's show. And if anything, we might have to go to the backup reserve power, but that means we won't have internet in order to do the broadcast. And normally I communicate with the radio station through the internet. And so we would have to do it by phone. Now here at our house, the power was on, no interruption, lots of rain and everything. But we still had the internet. And at first, I thought, well, then I'll just run a rebroadcast of one of the shows. And then I realized, no, wait, we've got power. We've got internet. So the Facebook and the YouTube were going to go live one way or the other. So, by the way, I don't know if the Facebook, because we're on 2 different cameras, I switched cameras because one of the things I noticed on the Facebook camera was it was really grainy. So I think that by switching the camera, we got a lot more clarity there. YouTube may be a little bit grainy because we're using the other camera, but I gotta love my IT guy. My IT guy who his responsibility is in IT, but he cares so much about the show. He's always giving me tips and suggesting different equipment to make the show better. So we're gonna add another camera and I'll make that better as well. Music's coming back. And welcome back. For those of you just joining us, we are listening to The Real Estate Show. My name is Eric Wilner, and I'm your host, as I have been here for 21 years, making this the longest running daily radio show in America. What we like to call sort of a seminar in a program. And today I'll tell you, being and working from the house gives you a lot of flexibility and a lot of latitude. So I can do work and I can listen to a webinar, and every day I swear I'm picking up some new stuff, things that will make the radio show better, things that will make real estate better. I have been doing a test and working on a new marketing method. And I'll tell you, it's a little bit complicated in terms of the doing of it. But the neat thing about it, it is 100% free, and it's 100% interesting way of finding motivated sellers in the middle of other activities. And it's using social media. I'll get into it maybe a little bit more in the future. But it's amazing what you can be learning and picking up with the advantage of having a lot more flexibility, being at home, working in your own environment. And of course, not traveling and being on airplanes all the time. So going back to our weekly recap, because on Fridays, that's what we do, is we kind of hit the high points. And remember, all of these shows that I'm referring to, you can listen to them in their entirety. So it's only about 30 minutes on our website at automaticlandlord.com. That's automaticlandlord.com. We've obviously also built that library onto our Facebook page at The Real Estate Show. It's what you see right back here on Facebook. So just look for The Real Estate Show. And now we're starting that on our YouTube channel as well. Now, I'm allowed to broadcast live on the YouTube channel from a home computer where they know the IP. And because crazy people out there and try to broadcast live crazy things, I can't do that on my mobile until I have 1,000 subscribers. So today is day one. We're just talking about that. I know it'll take a while to build up to that, but I want to request all of my listeners out there, if you'll go to The Real Estate Show on YouTube and subscribe there so that we can build up to that number, because that's when we'll be able to really do some of these neat and YouTube has some capabilities that Facebook doesn't have, and it'll allow us to broadcast even to a wider platform also. So Tuesday, which is usually our tools, tips, and techniques, we had a guest. We had another one in our series of the Real Estate Show Spotlights, and where we showcase a particular business. And in this case, we showcased a company called Concrete Craft. Now, while we interviewed the local owner of a franchise, Daniel Favoretto, sharp guy, real interesting, traveled all around the world, Brazil, Australia, and a number of other places. And so he had an architecture and construction background. But when he came to the United States, he decided to open a franchise of this company called Concrete Craft. Now, normally, if I was going to do a radio show where I can't show anything about concrete, I mean, I don't think you could have a seemingly more uninteresting topic, because, what is there to talk about concrete? But when you got to know Daniel and his background and his history, and you see the enthusiasm that he had for concrete. Now today, because of the way that they can apply these veneers of concrete, so it's a concrete overlay that they can put over brick, over cement, over terrazzo, over Chattahoochee, over all sorts of different bases, including dull old gray concrete. You can make your concrete look like natural wood. Yeah, that's pretty cool. You can make your concrete look like natural stone. So you can make whatever type of granite, marble, slate, whatever you want the look to do. And this goes for not just outside, but inside. So you talk about a durable floor for rental properties. Try making concrete floors that look like wood. I have gotten this over the years, a lot of tenants who don't want carpeting whatsoever. For those people who want carpeting, they can always put area rugs, and they can use it and abuse it as they want, as long as they don't, not wearing out my carpet, which in past times, I used to have to replace my carpet between tenants most of the time. And so We've gone to hardwood floors, we've gone to tile floors, and now the idea of doing it in cement is very interesting, particularly when you can make something look as beautiful and be as durable. So that was our Tuesday tools, tips, and techniques. And I want you to think a little bit outside of the box. So he gave out his website, concretecraft.com. Go check out all the different variations they are. Now, remember, I was talking about pool decks. I talked about floors. I talked about driveways, walkways. But think about this. Concrete is not only horizontal, concrete is also vertical. So think about what you can do with all these different and neat designs in concrete. And when you have these kind of coatings, they last for a long, long time. And imagine if it's on the wall, you may be able to paint the outside of a house and have a concrete coating and not have to paint it for 20 years or so. And imagine all the different looks that you can do. So anyway, that was our Tuesday show, and I thought it was really interesting and really a lot of fun. On Wednesday, we had our midweek report, and as you know, always on the midweek report, we talk about the news that you can use. So there we were talking about a very optimistic outlook for real estate. As I mentioned, and a lot of times I tell people that, our economy was like an aircraft carrier moving straight forward across the ocean at full speed before the coronavirus hit. So you don't just stop and put on the brakes on an aircraft carrier. Even if you were to turn off all the power instantly, the ship will continue to go and glide for literally tens of miles in an aircraft carrier. I forget what they said. It takes a 5-mile radius for an aircraft carrier to turn around. So you can imagine how long it'll go. And that's kind of what our economy was like. And people are wondering why, some of the large brokerages came out and they said, you should expect what's called a V recovery, which means it was a rapid decline in consumption, but a rapid acceleration of consumption. And we saw the numbers point that out. More importantly, on the midweek report on Wednesday, and again, you can listen to that entire show, go to automaticlandlord.com, top of the page, the real estate show, go into the show notes, and you'll see both a summary in writing, and click on it, and you can get also the downloadable podcast, or you can listen to it right there. But builder optimism, and I just wanted to point out one thing about builder optimism, is that builders have to look out at least a year, if not 2 years, before they start building, because by the time they apply for the zoning, then they draw up the plans, and then they get the plans approved for zoning, then they get the financing, and then they start the sales. It could be 2 years before a shovel hits the ground, or certainly 2 years before the property is on the market ready to close. So what they're saying and telegraphing is that this is not a short-term thing. And even if, and this is the caveat, because I don't want anybody to come back and say, Eric, but you said everything was going to be peaches and cream all the way, for the next 2 years. That's not what I said, but I do think that there is a lot of strength. Now, 1 week ago, we spent the entire week talking about the millennial demand factor. It's kind of like the baby boom factor was for many, many years, that no matter what came at the economy, because there were so many baby boomers growing into their peak earning years, and I'm talking about 20, 30 years ago, now the same thing is happening, but there's more of them. So the likely demand for housing is only going to increase. There is definitely a pent up demand. So there's a backlog of inventory that doesn't exist. It needs to exist, which is why the builders are so positive right now. And knowing what's going on in the economy, knowing about the purchasability, what I'm telling you is that watch what's going on with the builders. Watch what's going on with the market, because even though we have quote unquote record unemployment, my prayer for all of those unemployed people that were suddenly unemployed is that they do one of two things. One is that they go back to their jobs if their jobs will still exist. Not all will. Those that don't, wake up and either retrain or refocus on something else to do, because I'm going to tell you that the economy is going to do well. There will be No question. There will be cycles. So there will be slips and falls along the way. But I have a feeling this economy has got some legs to it. And so, they say that a rising tide floats all ships. And take that in the case of real estate, that a rising economy will raise the price and demand for real estate. And so the message there is, do your due diligence, but when would now be a good time to be buying real estate? And there will be a window of opportunity that's going to open up. I don't know exactly when. It depends on the stimulus. It depends on the moratoriums. It depends on a whole bunch of things. But mark my words, there will be a window of opportunity that is going to open up. And you need to be prepared to act and take advantage of that window. I don't think that window will be open for a long time. So it's not one of those things that, I wish I'd only known then what I know now. Don't tell me that in the future, because we're talking about that right now. And so, prepare. If you want to get a free strategy session, a conversation, hey, Eric, this is where I'm at. This is what I want to do. Help me to connect the dots between where I'm at and where I want to be. At the top of the page on our Facebook page, if you're one of our Facebook Live watchers, at the top of our website at automaticlandlord.com, there's a book a complimentary, no obligation appointment. Take advantage of that. I've had a couple of phone calls that have been really interesting and fun, and for them, very eye-opening. So that kind of wraps it up on Thursday. I want to just quick spot. You want to listen to that one. We talked about the debt solution, how to get rid of interest. I'm going to tell you, interest. Those who understand it are going, will earn it. Those who don't understand it will pay it. So that's the message for our Thursday show. Anyway, lots of stuff, very busy week, great week, lots of fun. Hope to join you again, same place, same time here on Monday. The music is coming in my ears. That means that I'm on my way out. Have a wonderful weekend. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. This is Eric Woolner signing off for the Real Estate Show. Until next episode, drive safe and make it a great day. Boom. So, hey, Ken, thanks. I'm glad we made it. You too. Have a great weekend. Have a happy Father's Day, too. So, great week. Simone just joined us. Oi, Simone. And Mr. Bilsker, long time, my friend. How goes the life? And so thank you, Brian, for jumping on when I requested. Like I said, I'm going to start building the following now on the YouTube channel. There's a couple of different reasons why we want to build that channel now. It'll be a great way for us to be able to deliver more content on demand as well. So I can do these live from my computer at home, but I can't do these live on the road until I have 1,000 subscribers. And today is day one. We're, what's that? 17. All right. So we're growing fast by leaps and bounds. Anyway, get the word out there. Tell a friend. Share this on your Facebook page. And certainly don't miss another episode. We got a lot going on. I mean, I got more planned. I think we'll have 2 special guests this coming week. And we do this 5 days a week and we still don't have a lot. We don't have enough time. So thanks again for listening. Everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy it. Say hi to your father, and happy Father's Day to all of the dads out there. Bye-bye.